Hi guys, it's Amy and you have found Amy Loves Crochet. Thanks so much for being here with me today. I appreciate you clicking on my video. I've always balanced the amount of personal talk that I do versus the yarn talk. I want to be here about the yarn. I don't want to necessarily just come on here and talk about myself, because who wants to hear about that? But when the yarn, when the real life interrupts my yarn life or has some impact on my yarn life, then I feel like that's appropriate to share with you. So I was already, when I created this channel, I was already at a point where I thought I didn't have enough time in my life. I was working, I worked 24 hours a week, as well as we have our granddaughter. And in the beginning, we had her a lot more time than we do now. But at that time, I was feeling very, very stressed and very limited with my time. And I still wanted to start the channel. So I did. And somehow I've made it work for over a year now. I've still been putting videos out about every 4 days as I can. And I've been pretty good about it, being consistent. And so now I've got something going on that is going to interrupt that some. And so I thought I would share that with you. We got a new puppy. I'll put the picture here. This is Max. We picked him out of the litter when he was about less than a week old. We saw the posting that a friend of a friend of a friend had posted, sort of thing, on Facebook. And yeah, here we go. So we picked him out, we put a deposit on him, and we had to wait all this time to get him. And so we finally brought him home last week. And my husband's been really good about staying with him, you know, his overnight potty trips throughout the whole week, because I have to work a real job. But then here on the weekend, Friday nights and Saturday nights is kind of his enjoyment time, his getting to kick his shoes off. And so I've had the puppy for the last 2 nights, and I hope I do not look like I feel. I'm exhausted. I'm way too old for these midnight 3 o'clock potty trips, but we'll get that under control, and then I'll be able to have more time for my channel. There is never enough time for my channel. I want to do this 24 hours a day. I want to share crochet with you guys 24 hours a day. But here we are. So I have just one make to share with you today. What I was watching, if you saw my last video for a shawl that Fiber Spider had done, I went ahead and continued on his page for a little bit more. I mean, I'm subscribed to him, so his stuff pops up all the time. But I'm always, you know, working on something else, like maybe you guys are too, and you think, oh, I'll get back to that, I'll get back to that. Well, this was the Virus Shawl, and I had been wanting to get on this Virus Shawl thing for quite some time, but I never did. And so here I bought this mandala yarn, and I wanted it to be for something specific. And I started that project and then found there were puff stitches in it. And you guys know Amy hates a puff stitch, so I frogged out what I had done and had to come up with something different for the yarn. But this colorway is called Groot, and it's a 150 gram cake that gives you 590 yards of a 3-weight yarn. It is 100% acrylic, and they suggest a 5mm hook, which I did use for this project. And I have only 8 ounces or 8 grams of yarn left over. Now he used mandala big cake, I think they're called. It's a bonus cake maybe. And so I didn't have that. I just had this to work with. So I just made it up as big as it would go, and I think I ended up pretty good with what color was left over. But so this one is different because you start from the bottom up, and I don't make a whole lot of shawls, so I don't know if there's a whole lot of bottom up patterns out there, but I really, really enjoyed working on this, and I think it turned out beautifully. Look at that. So yeah, we started down here and worked our way up, and it's only a 4-row repeat, and you kind of know where you're at as far as the double crochets go. So my only issue that I was having was the chains in the spacing here. So here's the top of one of the giant shells, and then you've got a row of 3 little chain spaces, and then 2 little chain spaces, and then 1 chain space, and then you get to the next row where you start. There's that top row is where they want you to finish for the double crochet spacing here. So it's a really, really nice pattern. If you haven't seen that already, I'll go ahead and link that down below. But yeah, so I want to do it again. I want to make this pattern again with some other yarns, but I hadn't reached out into the stash yet to figure out what I wanted to do, because this again was something, you know, was a one cake thing that I had specifically bought kind of on an impulse when I was walking through Walmart to make this pattern in one of my crochet books, and it just was not turning out. So I think that this is gorgeous. Now it does look a little bit small for maybe an adult. I don't know. See, I'm still trying to figure out shawl sizes. Maybe it's okay. You know, sometimes I see them a lot longer, that hang a lot longer or a lot bigger, but this one will be okay. And if you're wondering, I don't know, do you tie them? What do you do with a shawl? I'm not sure. Or do you just hold it together? You get a little pin. They've got those cute little pins. You could pin that and walk around, put a button on it maybe. I don't know. So yeah, I thought that was really, really pretty. And I thought that the yarn, the colorway worked up very, very nicely. As you can see, there was a little bit red. And so, yeah, so I don't know where I was going with that statement. But I also know that I'm not going to have a whole lot of time to edit. And I'm kind of an edit freak when it comes to my videos. And I'll start to say something and then talk to myself. No, that's not right. That's not what I want to say. And edit all that stuff out. But I'm not going to have time for that. So you're going to start to receive like full-on garble mouth sometimes if that's what happens. But yeah, so if you've got one of these mandala cakes that is, I think it was about $5.79 or something like that. I don't know if you can find them sometimes on sale. I'll look that up and put a link for some other mandala colors, because I think this one is old, if I'm not mistaken. That's my problem. Everything that I have, I get like on a clearance, or I buy it and then don't know what to do with it, so it sits around forever and then that color is discontinued. So I want to share something with you guys, but it's not available anymore. But if you're like me and you've got one in your stash, then ta-da! Yay! There you go. Okay guys, I've got a couple more things that I can still film today to get out next week. So like Saturday mornings, I would always try to film two different videos to catch me through the following week so I can film again on Saturday. But with this new puppy schedule, and I don't know how much he's going to be barking, and I always have so many things to balance out, whether the dogs are drinking in the background or my son's upstairs awake listening to loud music or whatever. So I'll find time for you guys, I promise. Love you guys. Thanks for sitting with me today. Have a wonderfully blessed day, and I hope you'll come back and see me again. Thank you. Bye-bye.